Strong.
And you attribute that to him not having a father?
Yes, because my mentality, see, you didn't have it there. My mentality is totally different. I had my mom and my pops in the house. I saw the dynamic. The dynamic is not what everybody makes it out to be. Everybody is imagining what they want their dynamic to be, and they're trying to create it. I lived it. It's totally different. And when I'm around niggas, I say, did you have your father in the house? No.
Let me ask you a question.
Did you have your father in the house? No.
Let me ask you a question.
Hold on.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Your dynamic that you saw, you think that's every two-parent household in
No,
America?
it's not, but it's
stop. I'm not done. So that's your dynamic, and that's what you would...
It's a dynamic. You didn't have one.
No.
You didn't have one.
I know.
Zero.
I know.
So you can't gauge.
And neither can you offer your household.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can. Because he was prevalent. He was there. You can't compare who didn't have a father in their life to one that did. It's obvious. It's
Let me ask you this. Hold on.
No.
You sitting there calling women black. That's what your father thinks you do. You talking about? You sitting there calling black.
You sound like that was raised by his mama.
You sound crazy. Look, two-parent households, every two-parent household is different. He's speaking on his one experience. Some two-parent households where the women wear pants. Now you say what to that?
All right, I'm gonna tell you.
You say what? Answer
All
it.
right.
Don't scream.
Who's yelling? You're the one screaming.
Answer it.
You're the one screaming.
Answer it.
Let's take a deep breath. Let's take a deep breath.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Elevation here with another episode of the JBP Elevated, where we speak on the Joe Budden podcast and all of his co-hosts on and off the pod. Shout out to Bag Fuel. Shout out to Esso and Heineken. I'm looking forward to the entirety of this interview dropping, but they released a snippet this morning or yesterday, and it's already at 30,000 views because that's the type of value Ish has. And I know y'all heard the animation in Ish's voice. I know y'all heard the back and forth with Ish and Esso. When's the last time we've actually heard a genuine interaction like that on the JBP? You know what this reminds me of? This is very similar to when Roy went on See the Thing Is, and he was mentioning how they had food there and snacks and toiletries and things of that nature that they didn't have on the JBP. This is very similar to that because Ish has been disconnected from the JBP for a long time, a couple of months at this point, and he was pointing out different, or I guess not differences, but grievances that he had with Ice and Flip and Melissa and everyone outside of Parks and Joe. He's frustrated because he, in his mind, I'm not saying this is factual, but in his mind thinks that he's getting paid similar to Ice. Flip might possibly be making more than him. Melissa might possibly be making more than him. He sees the addition of MLH. What happens when one of your main stars is frustrated? And unfortunately, because nobody believes me, Flip is currently the cash cow. Outside of Joe, of course, but on the co-host front, Flip is currently the cash cow. And it's not because he has more talent than Ish, but he's willing to go on both sides of the spectrum. He's willing to, he's willing to play ball way more than Ish is. At least seemingly, because Ish can play ball. Whenever Ish gets animated on any subject, it doesn't matter what subject is or the topic is, he's going to get views. He's going to damn near reach virality. And if you on top of that, that sounded crazy, but if you put on top of that, he speaks maturely or on mature topics as opposed to what it is that Flip speaks on. And I'm not saying Flip doesn't speak on mature topics, but when you look at Flip's shtick, maturity isn't what you associate with it. So if you can combine that with Flip, then you have content gold. But since Ish has checked out, there's no telling what direction that they're going to go in 2025. When Joe says that things are going to be different in 2025, these are the things that I think he's alluding to. I'm not saying he's going to kick Ish off the pod. I'm not saying Ish isn't going to return. But we do have to figure out the dynamic, because when it was him, Ish, and Ice, just the three of them, including Parks, of course, it was a mature pod, but they were still having viral moments. Everybody remembers when they had their argument about Jay-Z. Everybody remembers when Ice first came out saying that he was an inside boy and he was an outside, and they was crying on him for that. Like, they had moments, but he hasn't had a genuine interaction on the pod like that in months. And we can see his disassociation with Mel. We can see that there's not real antipathy between him and Flip, but there is some sort of tension between the two of them. We can see these things in real time. So what happens when Ish finally gets frustrated? And I keep speaking on Joe moving to Florida or moving to Texas or just moving out of New Jersey. And I keep alluding to Ish not being one of the co-hosts that would move along with him. There's discrepancies between the two of them. A while back, I had said that these two have sexual tension, and whenever you say sexual tension amongst two males, it sounds crazy, and I'm not alluding to them being gay, but they have fucked so many of the same women and have so many arguments about women that supposedly neither one of them care about. That's why I speak on them having sexual tension. And how it affects the dynamic of the relationship, I don't know. I'm not the one to say, but just know that it exists. Just know that Ish is looking at Joe in the same way that Joe looks at Flip. You didn't always have this bread. I see how you came across your bread. I don't necessarily respect how you came across your bread. And I'm going to hold that against you, even though I do business with you. Because when Joe speaks to Flip or about Flip, he keeps calling him the skit nigga. And clearly I'm sorry, Flip. Flip does not like that connotation. Don't call me no fucking skit nigga. That's the same thing with Ish and Joe. Joe constantly gets pissed off whenever Ish speaks on his celebrity status. That's the same correlation to me. But anyway, I'm hoping that 2025 brings rejuvenated Ish, a season 1-ish, a hungry Ish, because we might be losing Ish, and I'm speaking on it and nobody believes me because they just feel that his spot's so secure. And it is secure, but I'm alluding to Ish not wanting to contribute and be on the JBP anymore. He's trying to segue his way out. I wish Ish would come up with a podcast. He doesn't realize people would listen to something that he has to say. It's crazy because everybody's trying to start podcasts, and we're seeing that it's not as easy as it looks. Melissa is showing y'all that right now. And I'm not going to clown on Melissa. Everybody else is taking the clown on Melissa route. This is starting a podcast from the ground up, and this is what it looks like. So when y'all see people like me or Danny, especially Danny, because Danny be killing with the views, but when you see people of our stature in the 5K to 25 to 30K range of subscribers getting 10,000 views every video, you have to put a little bit of respect on that because there's celebrities out here. I already showed y'all what In the Trenches does. I already showed y'all what Melissa's podcast does. I'm getting similar numbers, and this is not me being on some braggadocious shit. It's just not easy to get a bunch of views. So Ish, on his own namesake, could get 30,000 views and up on everything he posts. But he refuses to step out and venture on his own in the podcast lane. It's easy to critique everybody else in this space, but see what it feels like when you create your own. Even though I think you would be successful. So I'm hoping that's part of the shakeup in the 2025.
Got him. Well, he told you earlier, the pocket watcher shit.
Yeah, and always complain about money.
Look what? Okay.
He just do that also as a deterrent, so people don't
Pocket
look
watching.
at him.
You the only one that understand it, but you will never clear it up. You sit there. That's why you understand what I do, but you always step on my shit.
Because I still think you should stop.
You
But
step-
I know why you do
You
it.
step on it and you do that and you put me out there to the wolves and I can survive.
Because you have painted me in a horrible light with all this pocket watching shit.
Me?
You and Sade.
Joe, Flip. Think about what you're saying. Flip. I paint you in a horrible light. You know I don't give anything.
Yes. Yeah.
I had to
You don't
accept
think you
that.
contribute to that?
Well, I want to be accountable. So
No, but
I'm sure a portion of
but
that
you know what he wouldn't
is
say?
me misrepresenting myself.
All right.
He wouldn't-
for the
you own
business.
that. Okay.
He wouldn't say, yo,
No.
he wouldn't say that Ice would say, yo, when Flip come in here, watch what's gonna happen. He wouldn't say it's encouraged, but niggas don't say that. He let them kick my back in, and I understand they can get tired of
You like that shit though.
I do, but not when he says it. I don't like that. I do understand from a fan's perspective, yo, that gets tiring. Like we're hearing it, it's redundant. Cool, we get it. What are you getting at? But he knows I'm not getting at anything. He knows I don't say anything. It stops here. Yo, I see you. Yo, hey. I can't wait to get in. Yo, I saw that fly. And I go home. I don't complain about nothing. I have my own shit. He watches me too, but he doesn't say it on here. Yo, I saw that. Yo, you got that new car. Yo, I see that. Yo, I heard you got this. Yo, I saw that studio. Like, that's our thing.
Yeah.
I just do it more. I'm excessive with it because the niggas show it off all the time.
The way Flip was able to make this correlation with Joe pocket watching him the same way he pocket watches Joe, he needs to make the same correlation with the way he treats Shammy is the way Joe treats Flip. And the reason Flip is not getting fired is because Joe is trying to save face from the way he fired Rory. Everything culminates. And eventually, Flip is going to start putting two and two together. And he's going to be able to act accordingly. And by act accordingly, I'm not saying that he has to get rid of his shtick, because that's his thing. And I'm not saying you're a skit nigga, but you being rambunctious every time you get in an altercation is your shtick. So eventually you're going to start to make the correlation that everything you get Shammy to say about the co-host on the JBP, Joe is getting you to do to the co-host on the JBP as well. And by doing this, or by acknowledging that he's pocket watching you the way you're pocket watching him, you're also acknowledging that he is viewing you on the same level that he views himself. He wouldn't be pocket watching you otherwise. So if that's the case, why is it that 2025 is coming and you're only going to be on the JBP less and not at all? I don't know. I have been questioning for a minute, why is the 1.2 nigga working for the 1.4 nigga? And I don't say that lightly. Like, you have 1.2 million subscribers on YouTube and your content is doing numbers. The check must be lovely at the JBP, or you're acknowledging that you're receiving a lot of notoriety from the JBP. I don't know. But I thought it was funny that you pointed that out, but you can't make the correlation of a bunch of other things happening. Joe is not going to fire you at all, because he's trying to show the world that it wasn't him as a bad boss, it was employees that were acting up. So if he fired Rory, in his mind and in the world's mind, he's trying to make it seem that he was inclined to do so. I don't think anyone can get quote-unquote fired from the JBP going forward. But the main tie-in to that is that Rory was a part or a profit partner and you are under contract. He doesn't want to fire you because you're still bringing in engagement and views, and he has you at the salary that he wants to pay you at, even if it's high in your eyes. And he's allowing you to quote-unquote run your own network still. So I don't know, all these things tying together. But I appreciate y'all as always. Yeah, man, y'all running them numbers up. I genuinely don't even know what to say outside of thank you, and I'm sincerely appreciative. Y'all continue to do so. Hey, let me know how y'all feel about the content. Till tomorrow. Peace.